Welcome to the Real2reel360 show. Let's get it in. We do the knowledge and wisdom so you can understand. Real2reel360 shows in full command. We changing the game for how it all was taught. From bondage to freedom to an independent thought. Yo, the show is here to bring about a change for real. To lighten everyone so we all know the deal. 360 degrees is a fact. We created the show to give our love back to our communities so we can know what's going on and give them the support from knowledge to born. So if you're ready to learn, then it's time to go. Sit back and relax and enjoy the show. Peace. Peace to Allah's mighty 5% nation, the gods and nerds, to all the human families of the planet Earth. I give a love, peace, and happiness a high love salute. Greetings, everyone, and welcome to the Real2reel360 show. All right, we kicking it where we left off. We got part 2 of our show with our special guest in the building. So right about now, I'm going to bring on my co-host with the most, none other than Mr. PhD himself, none other than Josh Miller. What it do, my brother.
Peace to God, peace to large 5%. Peace to all our followers and listeners and subscribers. Make sure that you're telling a friend to tell a friend to tune in to Real2reel360. Today we finna kick it right back off because we left some things on the table last week. Today we're gonna get all of it off today. So today we have the one and only, I am Miss Shalakemia. Please bring her on so we can get this.
Peace, Queen.
Peace.
How y'all feeling?
Excited about this show.
Yes, I'm excited too.
Yo, I tell you, we left some things on the table, but for some of the viewers and stuff that's tuning in and seeing you for the first time, just introduce yourself slightly and we finna get into it.
Yes, my name is Shalakemia Moffitt. I'm from Pennsylvania, and I'm a business coach and I'm a motivational speaker.
All right. Now that we done got all the prelims out the way, let's get right to it. Last time we let off with some feminism talk. It was something serious. Trying to figure out, how did the Black woman become part of the feminist movement? Where did that happen?
By my knowledge, it's really wanting to be a part of something, and I don't know why us as Black women have to be a part of certain things or feel a part, but that was something we were never, ever supposed to be a part of. And it was really a setup, and people don't understand that it was really a setup to divide Black women and Black men, because that's what it turned into.
Right. And you see that every day, daily, that it's more of women, and men. And the thing about it is, if you're in a relationship, you don't need women empowerment or men empowerment because y'all empower each other.
Right.
So if you have to go to your girlfriend to get some women empowerment, so what is going on here?
I'm not going to say that women can't empower other women.
Right.
But you're not seeing empowerment amongst Black women where they're saying, empower, the man you're with. When a lot of women go to their girlfriends about their relationships, the first thing a lot of women tell other women is they say leave. Why is that the first thing that comes to mind? I'm not going to tell my girlfriend to leave unless she's being physically abused, something like that. But why isn't there empowerment? Talk to your man, talk to your husband. You see what I'm saying? Why isn't it a conversation about, what did you do wrong, or what can you do to better your situation? That's empowerment.
Right.
Not always giving someone the advice to walk away or to leave or, things like that. But you don't really hear that conversation in many circles when it comes to, Black men. You don't hear the conversation of, well, consider his feelings. You see what I'm saying? Or, hey, sis, you're wrong in this situation. That's the real empowerment out here.
Now, how much accountability do individuals actually want to take is the question. And that goes for men and women when it comes down to the relationship. How much accountability of what do you play in the destruction of your relationship?
Right.
Because everybody got a side.
Right.
But the truth stands alone. And everybody know the truth.
It does, but I did like a quote a while ago, and I'm like, listen, we in a world full of relationships. Every failed relationship or marriage can be the man's fault. You can't tell me that. You can't even pay me to believe that.
Right.
But we never get to, the bottom of the part that the women play. But I'm gonna tell you, people like easy, and it's easier to blame a black man because it's believable. And I'm just being real.
Now that's deep. That's deep when you said it's easy to blame a black man because it's easy to do so. Like that's, when I think about relationships, past, present, whatever the case may be, or future, what have you, when it comes down to relationships, it's always the man's fault. He always stepped out, or he always did this. And also too, like 85% of men who step out of their relationship don't step out because they're lusting or sexually hungry.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Peace, man. How you doing?
Peace, sis. What's good?
A lot of men step out because of there's no peace in the home. There's no peace of mind.
Yeah.
I got a question. We know we've heard of the word male chauvinist. We've heard of that. Is there such a thing as female chauvinist? And if there is, what are the criteria, or what are some of the things that makes a woman a chauvinist, or say female chauvinist?
Before I answer that, can you just explain to people chauvinist? Because some people will say, well, what is that?
Well, chauvinist is really more of a pride and ego thing, or a sign of dominance from one side to the other, where male chauvinist is just like the woman is beneath him totally to a degree. And she's only allowed to do anything he says she can do. She can't do what he can do. Anything he can do, a woman can't do better. That's a chauvinistic mindset, kind of narcissistic thoughts and saying.
Okay. I do think that there's women that operate like that. Let's take the woman that makes more money than her husband, for instance. I feel like as a woman, if I make more money than my husband, I feel like he should never know that, and that should never be thrown in his face. People might disagree with me, but there's a lot of that does go on. It's a power trip. But again, feminism supports that type of thing. They come and say, oh, we want women to be equal. That's not what y'all displaying. And I'm just being honest. It's like feminism has created a competitive environment between men and women. That's what it's created. Why am I in a relationship with someone competing with them and we're supposed to be a team? That don't make sense.
Now I got a question. When people say they want to be equal how?
I don't know how they want to be equal, because I don't want to be equal to a man.
I understand equal pay if you're doing equal work or whatever the case may be. But in your personal life, how do you want to become equal with a man?
I don't know what they mean when they mean equal. I feel like there's natural roles in a relationship. There's natural roles in a household. I don't understand it. And that's why I say feminism was never for us. They're pushing an agenda on Black women, and that's why we are the least married. And they're more married than us. Let's be real. Right. Their households are ran different from what our households are ran. I'm gonna take it a little deeper. They're using Black women on TV to be negative. They're not using white women. Right. They're not using white women. If y'all see that new show that's about to come out, I forget, Bad Girls West, some show where the tryouts alone are ridiculous. I'm talking about Black women coming in there with no clothes on. They expect you to fight during the tryout, and I'm just looking like, look at us. That's us. That's not them. That's us out there looking like that. Our households are divided. Their households are not divided like ours are. I don't know how they want to be equal, but I'm gonna tell you, with them doing the new thing with the selective service, I hope that's equal enough for them. Now women have to register for the selective service, so I hope that's equal enough for them. And that passes in 2023. Men are not the only ones that have to register now. Women do too.
You know, it's crazy when you look at all the things that we talk about, feminism and all this other stuff, right? And how individuals want to be equal, and even with the selective service, when you go into the military and everything else, and that thing that for us, selective service wasn't a choice. At 18, it was mandatory. If you didn't register for selective service, you know what I'm saying, down the line, you got jammed up.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? You got jammed up. So with the whole equation now of individuals wanting to be equal, and they want to be in a single parent household, it seemed like to me. Like you're more invested in trying to be this strong, quote unquote, black woman, or whatever the case may be, instead of wanting to be, you know what I'm saying, a wife or a girlfriend, whatever the case, a spouse, put it that way. So how can we reverse this polarity? What is the mindset? How can we change this mindset? Because they're allowing TV to control everything and dictate everything, because reality TV is all they see.
Right. I mean, it's just really women coming to their senses, you know, and realizing, you know, what the agenda is. Like you were saying, like in the household, why would you rather be a single parent and struggling? That, I mean, logically, that just makes no sense to me. But it's explained to them as a place of power. They're in control. Oh, a single mom is, you know, it's looked at as a victim. Why would you want to be a victim? That doesn't make sense to me. Why would you want a story of, you know, I'm taking care of these kids by myself, I'm struggling? Why would you want that to be your story?
You know, and when I hear a lot of women do that, they sound off like they want a badge of honor, like because they taking care of their children. It's the same thing like when I hear men talking about, you know, saying they was babysitting their child. Like that's something you're supposed to do. You're supposed to watch your child. You know what I'm saying? You're supposed to raise your children. But I had these many children. I went through this. I went through that. And it's like, ain't that what you're supposed to do?
Because, do you know? Sorry, I'm sorry.
Go ahead. No, go ahead.
Do you know it has been taught to a lot of women that being that single mom, that it's like strength. You know what I mean? Like it's some type of accolade, and they praise it like, oh, you know, she was a single mom, and a lot of women get off on that. They want to be praised. They want that accolade. But why do you want that type of accolade? It's like we're the face of that accolade. Why? Why are we the face of that accolade? Why would they want to tear the black home up? Come on. Why would they want to do that?
It's supposed to be balanced, you know what I'm saying, inside the household. You know what I mean? Where I'm weak, you're strong, whereas you're weak, I'm strong. That's balance. So that's not both being equal. You know what I'm saying? At some point in time, that's not equal. You know what I mean? Because you might be good at something I'm not good at. You know what I'm saying? What it is balancing. You know what I mean? So we got to understand the difference in being equal as, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Or, you know what I'm saying, I want to be equal. Now, if you're on a job and you're doing the same work that I'm doing, yeah, you should get the same pay.
Right.
You know what I mean? I'm not going to never say that. You know what I mean? But I think that when it comes down to life in general, the black man is the low man on the totem pole, period. You know what I mean? When you look at the hierarchy here in Western civilization, you got the white man, white woman, you got the black woman that's up under both of them. Then you got the Hispanic woman, and then the Hispanic man. Then you have the black man at the bottom, being dogged out by everybody.
Everybody.
And when you come home, you're dogged out at home.
Yeah. There's no peace at home.
You know what I mean? and that's crazy. Women don't pull the man by the tail. I didn't get that.
Okay, she's saying women don't pull the man by the tail all the time and nag at him what to do. Then men don't bully a woman and tell her what to do all the time. That's how she's coming across. She's just giving her insight.
Okay. Now, you know what I mean? I can see that. Like, first of all, it's the way you talk. One thing about life is you can say whatever you want to an individual. But it's how you say it.
Right.
People don't realize that when you're dealing with life in general, you can say whatever you want to an individual. How you say it and how your body language is, that's how things, you know what I mean, can be received. But if you always got this nasty attitude or nasty attitude or always sarcastic or always have some type of cynicism with your conversation, it's never going to be received in the fashion that you're going to give it. And people think for one instant that it's acceptable, and it's not. You can't talk to people any kind of way. You can't do that. You know what I mean? You can't do that, because at that point in time, people watch your mannerisms.
Right.
They listen to how you say things. That's how people get caught up in text, because how you feeling when you receive a text,
right?
You gonna
perceive it.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. If I could just say that I don't think they realize it. I mean, I study it and I watch it. And these same women that say that they don't, and I just did a video on this, these same women that saying they don't want to be submissive, they don't want a man to control them. I don't know who explained to them that being submissive is control, right? But just watch how these women don't, want to respect the man. They don't want to listen to one. They don't want to be a team. Then they raise disrespectful children. Then they raise children that what you raising, not all, some. You raising children that then are out here and they're disrespectful to teachers. They're disrespectful to elderly people. I mean, that's what we're seeing now. And it's very disheartening, because I wasn't raised to disrespect my elders. I was raised that it don't matter if they're related to you, not related to you, respect them. But that's the product of a woman not being in the natural order. That's the product of it. Now you have a child that disrespects you and just disrespectful, period. And then people looking like, oh, that's such and such a child that's talking like that. And then people looking at you crazy, because that's how your child is coming off, and your child is a product of you. People don't understand the order. When it's out of order, it continues to be out of order the whole way down. Then it trickles down to the child. Now the child feel like that child ain't got to listen to nobody. You see what I'm saying? They're not taking no knowledge, no teachings, nothing. That's what the mom taught them, because she was out of order. There's an order that we're supposed to be in.
Indeed.
I think that when people, I say this well, most people speak more of what they don't know than more of what they do know.
Right. Because
most of the time when they talk about what they don't know, they don't have a clue as to tell somebody what is the right over the wrong. You know what I mean? And the whole balance of what we're talking about is the scale of balance, where if one is more or less is less, something's off. The weight is off. So we have to counter that somehow with knowledge. When we counter that with knowledge, we bring it back to the full front of a parallel that's foundation. And when we lose that, when one is taken out of the equation, everything is thrown off. Let's just get it right.
Yeah.
One part from the three is out of the equation, doesn't add up anymore. We have a negative impact somewhere. And so the thing is, we got to come back to the full fold and make that knowledge and wisdom we have produced the greatest part of understanding.
Like our righteous brother, True Asiatic, that's my man right there. Economics have created an imbalance. The need for a man seems to be physical and tangible only. No greater good, no yin and yang. And the concept of natural complements is gone. And I agree. You know what I mean? And like our sister Lynn said, let's go back. When the factories were closed in our neighborhoods, and many of our grandfathers or fathers lost their jobs, which put our families in a position of chaos.
Uh-huh.
You know what I'm saying?
Uh-huh.
And it's sad where it's like Q's just said, disrespect is the norm.
It's the new norm.
Now it is. It is. It is. Do y'all know? Okay, so I know y'all remember the show 227, right?
Absolutely.
And I love that show. And Miss Marla Gibbs, I think that's her real name. Miss Marla Gibbs, the mom. And a lot of people don't know this, but do you know that they tried to make her a single mom on that show, and she told them, "No, you will not."
Yep.
She told them, "No, you will not. You will not do that." And that's how we have to be as people. You see what I'm saying? We can't take opportunities just because it's an opportunity. We have control. There's a lot of people that have come to me and want to do things with me, but it goes against my brand. You see what I'm saying?
Uh-huh.
They wanted me to be a part of certain reality shows, and they do that because they know I have a following. You know, but I don't take every opportunity given to me. I don't take an opportunity that goes against my platform and what I believe as a woman. You see what I'm saying? And that's why I say we have power. And I look at, Miss Gibbs in a different light because she used her power to say, no, I'm not going to be a part of a show that displays a single mom. Y'all going to give me a husband, baby. And that's what they did. And a lot of people don't know that. She fought for that. And
those are the unseen, those are the unforeseen.
Right. They're not going to tell you that. Right.
Be made front. Until that person comes out and someone interviews said, well, I heard such a, well, you know what, child, let me tell you the real tea. Let me tell you the story. You know what I'm saying? So, and that's part of why we have the segment that we have, because we want to make sure the truth gets out rightly versus the nonsense that's so more plagiarized than anything on anything else. You know?
I was just thinking about the concept of 227, right? Marla Gibbs was the only one in her building who had a husband. The grandmother was raising her grandson. Then you had Jack A, who was dating everything with a pulse. Now, those were different messages that was sent out during that period of time. You know what I mean? And when you said that, it just made me think how that concept really is what we've seen, because art depicts life. We start doing things that we see on TV because it's accepted.
Yeah. We think it's okay, and and it's not. It's not, and we don't have to support things like that. We have to start taking a stand and using our voice. A lot of people, in our culture, we don't do that. We go along with whatever's told to us. So that's why people feel like they don't know what natural order is, because they're listening to what someone else is telling them to do, and they're not doing any research. I don't listen to what other people tell me to do. I do the research. I grew up around my great aunts, my great grandmom, and I seen them do the laundry. They had careers. I seen them do the laundry. My pop would be sitting in his chair. My grandma would cook, take him his plate, make sure his clothes was out for work, and she had a career. She never complained about it. These women these days, they'll tell you, I worked all day. I'm not cooking you nothing. I'm not washing your clothes. And I'm like,
they're gonna tell you that they ain't your mama. That's what they're gonna tell you.
But they want you to pay their bills like you. Okay.
You ain't their mama. They ain't your mama, and you can't tell them what to do. You can't do this, you can't do that. So my thing is, if that's the mentality, and they don't realize that is a major reason why we are in the position we are now. You know what I mean? You have so many women that are in their 40s, 50s, and even 60s that are single with that type of mentality. You have so many guys that's 40, 50, and 60 with that type of mentality. And people don't even get into relationships for love anymore. That's not what relationships are even about. You know what I'm saying? Relationships nowadays is about something else. You know what I'm saying?
It's a business now.
Yeah, it's strictly a business. It ain't got nothing to do with love. People don't go in there for love, because if you go in there for love, you're gonna be the one get your feelings hurt. You're gonna get dogged out because other people have other agendas. There's some people that don't even have married people in their family at this point.
Yeah, that's true.
You know what I'm saying? Moms ain't never been married. Aunts, sisters, first cousins.
They don't even know what they look like.
Nah, don't know what it look like.
Do you know who made marriage a business?
No.
Say again, what was the question?
No.
Do you know who made marriage a business?
Oh, besides the government? Besides the government?
Besides the government.
Oh, we can take that back to the early days of the European establishment, because a lot of marriages were confined as far as a business transaction to preserve bloodlines within the ties of kingmanship and stuff. That was a deal. That was a business transaction.
Now, I'm thinking that I really don't know who outside of the government making it a corporation, each individual a corporation, that you have to sign these documents and you have to actually merge as a corporation.
Outside of that, do you know who made marriage a business?
No, I really don't.
Women did.
Oh, really?
Yes, it's clear as day. Women made marriage a business. Now, do you see all the stipulations that women put on men? They have to make so much money. They have to drive a nice car. You know, they have to live in this nice house. They have to be doing, I'm not dating no brokey and no dusty. And hold up. Because black men have came in the projects, baby, and dated y'all. Did y'all forget?
Right.
And came in that house and took care of other people's kids. Did y'all forget? They forgot. Right. They forgot. And they don't have that conversation, but it happened.
Now that's another conversation when you when you dating single mothers and they have children. And don't get me wrong, you know what I'm saying? You love a child as a child, but you know, you do not put a child in grown folks' business.
Oh, they do it all the time.
Yeah.
They do it all the time. I made a video about that the other day. I said how I don't understand how your kids run a household. I don't understand how your kids don't respect the man of the house. I don't understand that. But
because that son is your man. That's the only man in the house that you love. That's now that when you get to talking about the son running the household and not respecting the man, is because the love that's in that house isn't for the man, it's for that son, and empowering him to try to dominate that household.
Yeah, they put their kids first. I'm not saying now. I'm saying this from. I'm not saying that a woman should not take care of her kids and things like that. But what I'm sitting up here saying is a woman should not be in a house telling her man, my kids come first. Kids hear that. And, you know, kids play on that. Mm-hmm. Oh, I come first. You know what I mean? So they start disrespecting this man. You know why? They seen their mom disrespecting him. If the mom has no respect for him, the child is not going to have no respect. And the child is going to feel like, oh, I come first. I could do whatever I want to do.
You can't tell me nothing.
Right. You know what I mean? You're not my dad. That's not how households are supposed to be ran. That's not natural.
But you're supposed to be able to take care of that child. You're supposed to put food, clothing, shelter on that child, but you can't say anything to him. You can't discipline him. You can't do anything. Mm-hmm. You have to go through the mother to say something to the child, but you don't have to go through the mother to do something for the child.
Right. Exactly. And I don't advise people, because I coach people like that. I don't coach people to sit up and, you know, beat somebody's child down or nothing like that. But that man in the house should be able to, you know, tell those kids, you know, clean your room, do the dishes. Like, it's simple stuff like that, you know. But I've seen a lot of men walk away because the household is disrespectful. It does not respect him. Why should a man be sitting up taking care of kids that do not respect him? I don't advise no man to do that. I don't need to advise women that are, you know, with men and come in the household and care for his children. I don't even advise them to be disrespected. No.
But you know, it's crazy that women want you to accept their children, but won't accept the man's children. Child.
That's true. I've seen that, and that's absolutely not. Absolutely not. I've seen a woman plan a vacation and not include his children and say that his baby's mom has to contribute to. No, she don't. Just like your kids are going on vacation and y'all are paying for it, y'all pay for his kids too. I advise men, get away from women like that, because there are women out here like that.
Mm.
And it's wrong. It's wrong. If a woman is going to love you as a man, she loves your children as well.
Right.
And
But
your
see,
children should respect her in, both ways.
but that goes back to saying that today's relationship isn't about love. Because if you look at relationships, yeah, we had that convo cue. We look at relationships like for as our parents, and even before then. Some of our parents had children before they met our grandfathers or whatever the case may be. And it was never an issue. Now it's an issue. It's separation in the home. There's a lot of separation in the home. And when it gets to that point where you're manipulating things for one-sided, it just destroys the whole fabric and fiber of everything that goes on.
Yeah. I had a great role model, you know what I mean? Like my grandma, and my grandfather had children before he had children with my grandmother. And my grandmother, I seen my grandmother treat those children just like they was hers. Like what she would do for her, she did for them. And that was the example I had, and that's the example I go off of, because my grandmom's not going to teach me wrong, I'm that same type of woman, you know what I mean? My fiance, he has a child, I'm going to treat him just like I treat my kids. That's just how you run a household. You know what I mean? That's what I believe in. That's what I've seen. A lot of people didn't see that, but then, like you said, there's no love. And that's why people are operating the way they're operating. I don't believe that a relationship and a marriage is business. I don't believe that. It's love for me. The foundation is love for me. The foundation is not money. It's not assets, because assets and money go. They come and they go. And if that's what your relationship or your marriage is built off of, then when it's gone, what's it going to stand on?
Right.
It's not going to stand on nothing.
And a lot of people don't understand, like a lot of people figure they don't come from nothing, so they're going to try to get all they can out of whatever. And when you done blood sucked the person that actually was there for you, then you turn around and wipe your tail with them, then what you're going to do? Because everybody's not going to go for that.
Right. Yeah. I was thinking about your show today. I was driving, and what popped in my head is that, why can't men put women to a test like women put men to a test? That's what came in my head. I think that it's needed. I think you need to see someone in every single season, because I've seen women get with men for money, and then when the money was gone, they were gone. I've seen men get with women for money, and when the money, was gone, they were gone. I've seen women test men just to see, hey, if they're gonna be loyal. But I've seen men try to test women, and it was that the man was a liar and he was deceiving. So it was a double standard. But I do, like, to the people listening, I do recommend test people and see where they're at. That's the only way you're going to know if someone's for you. Either you're going to put them to a test to see if they're really for you, or life is going to do it for you.
You know what's funny about that? Because it seems more natural in this world of today for a woman to say, well, I'm going to give a 90-day rule.
Yeah.
When a man turns around and tells a woman, well, I need 90 days. What's your problem? What you mean? I ain't good enough for you? What you giving me a 90-day rule? See, so the mind, now you start playing the psychology game.
Yeah.
And so now the man's thinking, well, shoot, why can't I put you through the same test? But you put me through this. So why can't I do the same with you? No, it ain't gonna work like that. It's either me this way or all or nothing, baby. You understand? So most of the time, weak men will fall for the okie doke.
Right.
I'm saying that weak men will fall for the okie doke.
That's true.
Because if a man is going to stand his ground and say, listen, before we get any further into anything deep like this, This is what's going to take place for me.
Right.
You can't respect that, then I got to walk away and go be about my business again. You know, because women respect when a man is truthful and boldness about himself and he's assertive, because money don't make the man makes money.
Exactly.
Okay, so the thing is, the confidence ain't in the tree. The confidence is in the root of the man in the mind. So when you see a powerful man with thoughts in his head and he's got his act together, yeah, that's a gold mine right there. But you have to be coming in the same mind state. We got to match each other in that manner. But the only way we do is through communication and time.
But you know, the funny thing is, that's not the type of man that she's looking for. She wants the man that she can control and dominate. An individual who is strong-minded, who is a leader, who, you know what I'm saying, or gives all these different qualities. That's not what she wants. She wants an individual that she can dominate, or that she can control, or she can talk to any kind of way. That's in her mind her perfect mate. That's the man for her, because he is her child. He is. And they'll talk to you like that, like you're their children and everything else, because that's the type of person they want. They don't want anybody with their own thoughts or leadership qualities. That's not what it is.
That's the mindset that a lot of women, they want to control it. And I mean, it's a lot of women that want to be men, basically. I mean, because that's just not the natural order for me. Like, I don't want to control who I'm in a relationship with. I want them to have their own mind. You know, I want them to think for themselves. I don't want to think for them and think for me. And it's just not how things are supposed to go. It's just not.
When you realize that there is no communication, there is no communication. Since there is no communication, there's going to always be misunderstandings.
Yeah.
Because you're going to say and do whatever you want to do, regardless to someone else's feelings.
Yeah.
That goes for men and women. If you can't convey your thoughts and your thoughts be respected, because if you're not the best knower of everything, and if you think you know everything, then you're in the wrong room.
Right.
You know what I mean? So that's when it gets to that point where you have to reassess a lot of stuff. You have to reassess a lot of stuff. If a person is looking to talk down to you or put you in a situation where start messing with your self-esteem, because that's another quality.
Right.
You know what I mean? And women say, the first time I got married, I married for love. Next time I get married, I'm married for money.
But they don't want anybody to marry them for money. They don't want anybody to be with them for money. They don't want nobody to be with them because they have a place or like that. I don't know. It makes no sense to me.
When you are in a power struggle in your relationship, that's a major issue. A major issue. When you're in a power struggle, you can't find peace at home, you're in trouble.
Yeah, big trouble.
When you can't look at your spouse, your husband or your wife and be like, you know what I mean, this is heaven. You know what I mean? Because heaven and hell lies in your relationship. It's not in the hereafter, it's actually living with you.
Yeah.
So if you can't live, you know what I'm saying, look at your spouse and be like, yo, this is what brings peace to me, this is what calms me, then you're in a bad situation.
Right.
You're in a bad situation. It's time to reevaluate. And it's sad that women have gotten to the point where they do not care for men. They want to go on these exotic trips, these romantic trips, as a matter of fact, to Jamaica and all these Caribbean islands and all these different things with your girl.
Yeah.
You don't want to be laid up on the beach with your man anymore.
Yeah.
Q says, strong men have backbones and stand up, while weak men have gristle and fold up.
So what makes a woman want to just say, I don't need a man at all? Where's that mindset actually comes from?
They're taught that. They're taught to. You have to understand. They're taught to get on welfare. They're taught to, live in low income housing. They're taught that that's independence. That's what they're taught. They're not. Come on, it's women that were taught different. There was women that
comes from battered women as well too.
Huh?
You think it comes from battered women as well?
I believe it. That's a part of it. That's a part of it for some people. It really is. I could say that, I was a woman. I went through domestic violence at 14 years old. But it didn't make me hate Black men. It didn't make me feel like I'm a get married or be in a relationship for a business. It didn't make me feel like that. I had to understand that was the individual that I was with. We were young. That's something that he seen, He thought that was okay to put his hands on me. He has since apologized to me, for treating me like that. We were very young, but those experiences I had, it didn't make me bitter. It didn't make me toxic. It didn't make me any of those things.
Right.
So you can overcome that mindset. These women have to want to. You have to understand, a lot of women I talk to, I coach a lot of married women. I've got through to a lot of married women. Some are like, oh, I'm just set in my ways. And I said, well, listen, baby, he's going to leave. So you take a choice. He's going to leave you. So you stay the way you are, or you make the necessary things that you do to change. But it's up to you. It doesn't affect me if your man leaves. You see what I'm saying? His last resort was to reach out to me so I can coach you. So it's up to you what you're gonna do when we get off this phone. If you want to continue, we can continue. So you save your marriage.
Hold on 1 second. Hey, Kay, put the number back up, the calling number, because we have someone who wants to call in and they didn't get the number. Oh, definitely. But that's something that people got to realize. Like, you're not, when you walk this earth, and your whole memory is going to be by yourself, and it's going to be everybody else's problem but your own. So everybody didn't shit on you. Everybody didn't do you wrong.
That's true.
That's something that's the battle cry. He did this, he did that, he did this to me, he talked. But what did you do? But never what did you do? How did you treat him?
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
What can you do better, to move forward. Yeah.
And that's a major thing. Like, when you're talking about partnership, it's different. And I think that the longer a person is single, the worse it becomes.
You're right. They get set in their ways. I have a 50-year-old woman that I coach, and she's like, I know you only 40, but she's like, I wish you was around, when doing this, when I was coming up. She's like, I'm by myself. She's like, I want a good Black man, but she's like, I've been taught wrong, and now I'm by myself, and I want somebody to enjoy life with. That's going to be a lot of these other women if they don't change.
That's a lot of them now. Like, and then the funny thing is, they're trying to compete with the 20 and 30-year-olds.
Yeah.
They're trying to compete with the 20 and 30-year-olds. You know what I'm saying? And it's like, not saying that you can't still look good and attractive.
Right.
You know what I mean? But the whole mindset, your mindset is like you're trying to be 20 and 30.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? At some point in time, you got to sit down. You got to get out the way.
Yeah. It's not even about still looking good, though. It's really about mindset. I know women that are beautiful, but their attitudes are nasty, and the man does not want to deal with them. It doesn't matter. It was so funny. I made a video the other day, and a woman told me it was about Black men. And she's like, nobody still picked you. She was like, they would pick me over you. I'm 24. I'm light skinned. I can pass for biracial. And I said, oh, really? But nobody picked you yet. They think a lot of them really think because they can pass for biracial or they're light skinned, or you know what I mean? That's like a really crazy way to think.
Vanity is major. Like, vain. Oh my goodness, vanity. Where everything is how you look. You can be a pretty package,
right?
But a shitty gift.
Mm-hmm.
And people don't even realize that. The prettier the package, the shittier the gift.
Yeah.
And that's where the disappointment come in. Because, you know, as a child, the bigger the box, the bigger your eyes get. When you realize wasn't really nothing in there, you're like, okay, this wasn't what I expected. It was some socks or some thermals. I thought I was going to get something major. But it's what it is. You know, we have to change the mindset and learn how to talk. Like, if you think for one instant to come off nasty or whatever to each other, that's going to work. That's not going to work. And it makes a person not want to deal with you. That kills the whole physical attraction. But people don't even realize that.
Yeah. That
kills the physical attraction. The shittier your attitude is, the nastier you are, or whatever the case may be, that kills that whole physical attraction. They don't care about being with you. I don't care how pretty you are.
Yeah.
Your mouth is nasty, your mental is nasty, your attitude is nasty. Don't nobody want to deal with that.
Do you know that other Black women don't even want to hang around those kind of Black women? So it's not only men that don't want to deal with them. Other Black women don't want to deal with that nasty attitude either.
No.
Well, we too busy living the stereotypical thought that a strong man will always have to be a dog, and a Black woman will always be a bitch, you know, in the negative. And I'm so sick of that because, you know, every time you turn around, oh, that's my igga, that's my itch. You know what I mean? But come on, these are words of negative connotation, but you think you give it power and substance for something so falsified that it's disgusting. It's disgusting because to me, if I see a beautiful Black woman, how you doing, Queen? How you doing?
Right.
You know what I'm saying? How you doing, King? What's good? I greet you in how I see you to be you naturally are. You know, and then sometimes people look at you like, you must be crazy. No, I'm not crazy. I'm giving the respect.
Right.
I'm giving the respect from which was lost. I'm trying to get you to come back to the life root.
Right.
We are kings and queens. You know what I'm saying? We are beautiful, blessed Black people. We have substance in this world. But if you fall for anything, you're gonna fall for it all. You know.
But the thing about it is respect left a long time ago.
But and see, that's the major problem.
You know what I mean? Respect left a long time ago. When they started allowing the government to be their husband, the government to be in their children's father, the government to be involved in relationships and everything else and dictate to you how you're going to deal with your own children or whatever the case may be, or how you can't deal with your woman. Because if you go into these family courts, and family courts is not for a Black man. There's no equality there.
That's when they scream Black Lives Matter. Black Lives Matter a long time ago.
Not in family court.
A long time ago. We got a caller coming in.
Black lives don't matter in family court.
Caller, you on the air with Real2reel360. State your name and where you from. Caller. Hello. Caller.
Yes, you did.
Hold on, let me fix this.
Okay, but yeah, like I said, Black lives don't matter in family court. A woman life matter in family court.
Do you know that what you said is right, but do you understand that if they allow fathers to be more active with their children in the court space, that there wouldn't be as many children in foster care?
Right.
Okay, we got the audio back in now. Caller, how you doing? This is DJ KY's Real2reel360 show. State your name and where you from.
Veronica Lynn. I'm from Milwaukee, Wisconsin.
All right. Good evening.
I've been commenting on here, and I love Shalakemia.
I can hear you. Hi.
How you doing? But I wanted to say, to get my own experience and own up to my thing. Like I used to be in a lot of bad relationships. I've been in domestic, abuse situations. And like my last relationship that I ended, my ex was an alcoholic. And I stayed with him though for years. And once I was complaining to a male friend about him, I would complain a lot about him. And he just like took me to the side and was like, you know, I'm sad that you in this situation with this guy. You know, you complain a lot about him. But he was like, what is your contribution to the situation? Because, you know, you're allowing him to treat you like that. Like, it's got to be something in you that is allowing, you know, yourself to be with these losers like you've been saying. And I was like, wow, you know, I had to step back and like think about what he was saying, because I wasn't the best, you know what I'm saying? I wasn't at my best. I had a whole problem myself. Like, he was addicted to alcohol, and I was a gamble head. So I had my addiction, he had his addiction, and that's what like made me settle for it. You know what I'm saying? That relationship and being in those kind of relationships, because I wasn't on my game. But I'm complaining about him instead of, you know what I'm saying, working on myself and being the best that I could be so that I could get the best.
Right.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
That's amazing, Veronica, that, you know, you could take that kind of accountability. People aren't willing to do that. But when you I tell people all the time, when you take that kind of accountability, you grow. You grow. It's not a bad thing. You grow, just like she grew. She had to realize about herself. And that's what that opens up when we take that accountability and that responsibility for us.
Right. I had to, you know, work on myself. I gotta be the change. You know what I'm saying? I gotta make it myself. I gotta be that person that I'm trying to attract. You know what I mean? You can't be a nickel and trying to get a dime. You know what I'm saying? You gotta be on your game.
Right.
Like, seriously, you gotta look within and see. Everybody ain't the problem. You know what I mean? Figure out it ain't always them. Sometimes it's you. A lot of times it's you.
That's true.
So, I just wanted to say that I love you, the show. You know, we need a lot of coaching. You know what I mean? To take a village in. We need the whole country, really.
Right.
Yo, what y'all doing?
Well, we thank you very much for calling in and appreciate you, and keep doing what you're doing and staying strong with yourself.
For sure. Much love.
All right. Take care.
You know, it's funny. We don't realize we attract ourselves where we at a certain point in our life. We attract the same type of people, and it becomes an issue when you outgrow that point in your life.
Yeah. Yeah.
You know, that's when it becomes a real problem. And people don't realize, like, when you check out, people actually check out a relationship.
Way before they leave.
Way before they leave.
Way before they leave.
People learn how to live without you while they're living with you.
Yep.
That's so true. That's so true. I want to add that I'm not saying a person like every person that I coach. I have some women that are like, listen, you know, they're older than me, you know, the same age as me. They be like, I'm not afraid to sit up here and, you know, say I need help. You know, and a lot of them are like on a good path. You know, their husbands be like, listen, you saved my marriage. Like, my wife is different now, you know, and that's why I don't want people to be afraid of coaching, you know, with me. Because there's something I could bring to the table that can, you know, save your relationship, save your marriage, even save you from yourself. You know, and nothing I come and talk about, you know, I say it like, listen, y'all, this is how I messed up. But I want to teach y'all how to, you know, change your mindset, how to unlearn those things so you be in a place where you're happy, you're peaceful, you're peaceful for the person that you're with, you're peaceful for each other. Because that's what it's about.
You know, it's sad. When I look at like some of my nieces and stuff like that, and they go through different situations, and they become like, to me, like the mentality is so left field. Like, I have one niece. She got like 5-6 kids and 3-4 different baby daddies, and all of them were like street dudes or jailhouse dudes, and it's like. And then you have an attitude like you don't understand what the problem is. You don't understand what the problem is actually you, because it's not them. A man is going to approach you and you have to say yes.
Mm-hmm.
He's going to offer you what he think that you want. You have to say yes. So if you want very little, he's going to give you very little.
Right.
If he think that you're attracted to street stuff, then he's going to give you street stuff.
Right.
And I used to tell them, like I tell my daughters, I tell my nieces, it's a difference between a high heel chick and a sneaker chick.
Mm-hmm.
Now it's a Ugg boots and
Clogs.
And clogs. Yeah. It's a difference. A man looks at a woman differently that wear heels than he do at one that wear Jordans.
Mm-hmm.
And
go ahead.
No, go ahead.
I mean, I'm just led to share this. Like I never shared it in my relationship. Like I broke up. I broke up with the person I'm in a relationship with. And I broke up because a girl messaged me and told me that she was messing with him, right? So I'm angry. I'm like, what? So, you know, I'm just have all these mixed feelings or whatever. And it went on for like maybe like a week or two. And he's like, I never, you know, I used to deal with her, you know, but since we've been together, I ain't talked to her. I ain't, you know, my mind ain't there. You know, I'm just ready to snap out, but then I really can't snap out, you know. And come to find out, he had shared with me some messages she sent him, right?
Mm-hmm.
And it wasn't that her goal was to break us up, right? The lesson in it really was that it wasn't that he was still dealing with her. She was jealous of the way he was dealing with me. So her thing with him was, well, you know, why the way you treating her, why didn't you treat me like that? And I think a lot of women can learn, you know, from this story. Mm-hmm. You want results from a man, but you're not putting anything into it. You didn't get the results that I get out of him because I'm a different woman to him. I'm a different woman altogether. Mm-hmm. She wasn't willing to be the kind of woman that I am to him. So he didn't respond to you the way that he responds to me. Mm-hmm. And the whole time I'm just sitting up here like, wow, she was jealous of the way he would post me on social media, the things he would say about me on social media, you know, and she's jealous of the way he's responding to me, but you weren't ready to be the woman that I am to him. Right. And that happens a lot. And I'm just looking at it like, wow, that was her motive. Like, I'm gonna break them up because I'm jealous of the way that he, you know, he treats her and he parades her around and, you know, things like that. But that's a lesson for a lot of women. A lot of women sit up and, oh, she over there, she dumb for him. No, that's not what it is. I'm telling you, that's the excuse for a lot of women. Oh, he left me because, you know, she over there doing this, that she dumb for him. No, that ain't why he over there.
Oh, we got another call coming in.
Oh, we got another call. Oh, wow, that's two minutes.
Good evening, caller. You on the air, Real2reel360. State your name, where you from. Hey, what's going on, Lynn? What's good, sis?
Oh, it's going well. So I just wanted to call in and say that this topic, of course, is very important. I've been going back and forth with what I needed to say or what I wanted to say. And pretty much what I want to say is things we already know. So if I go back and I think about how our families were during slavery, we were torn apart there. Most of us were sold off, especially if the man was like very blonde or whatever, like whatever you want to say, or if the woman was a certain this or certain that. So families were torn apart, and of course they didn't want that, but that was something that like was placed upon them. And whether we know it or not, we got used to that, or we got accustomed. Maybe not used to, but we got accustomed to being sold off and being separated. That we can go there, and then I can skip to what I stated in the live chat when I was talking about like when our grandfathers and our fathers used to work at these factories, and the government and society saw that, and they saw that the Black man was making a living for his family, and they did not like it. So what do? We close these factories. We're going to make them lose their jobs. And what are they going to end up doing? Most of them end up going, like we talked about just minutes ago, maybe going to jail, doing things just for like a family, selling drugs, all of that. And so the woman then had to get used to being alone. She didn't want her husband to be gone, but that's how society and the government did that. And so then the man gets used to being, and I won't say used to, but the man is now, let me just go with the custom, to being in prison or being away from his family. And the wife is now used to being or taking care of her family by herself. And then we grow up and then we start seeing like, I think it was said earlier that it's an accolade or something about being a single woman. It is not. That's a learned behavior as well. Most Black families want to be together, but because over the years, they're going to say at least 40 to 50 years, it's been to where they think that's okay. It is not okay. It's always been for us to have a two-parent home in the Black family. It wasn't for us to ever be separated, for the woman to be taking care of her children, for the father to be out of the house. It has never been like that. It was set up. It was orchestrated for us to live like that, simply because of the government and society. And a lot of people don't want to admit that, but that's exactly what happened. And so then we get used to it. And then women say, I don't need a man, I don't need a man, I don't need, yes, you really do. But then the guys are like, I'm not taking care of that baby because we got so used to doing that. And so I just wanted to bring that to, not everyone can check it. I feel like we already know that, but I just feel like that needs to be shared. So it's not like we want to have a dysfunction in our families. It's like, this is what we were taught. And all that can definitely be on.
Right.
Most definitely. It's sad that we have to go through that syndrome, and that causes a lot. Like, people don't realize post-traumatic slave syndrome. Like, that's what it is. We destroyed our families, and we kept that mentality. We allow people to control how we raise our children. Took the discipline out the home. Took the man out the home. You took everything away from the family, and how you expect us to survive. You know, and also too. Hey, Lynn, you still there? Lynn still there?
She's there.
I'm waiting on her to come get on her job because Lynn is our other co-host. she refuses to come to work.
Oh, yeah, he's still in the background. Don't act like you don't hear that.
She don't want to come to work. She want to get in the live chat. You know what I mean? So, but
I feel like you need to bring them in the live chat. But I do want to say one more thing.
Go ahead.
To piggyback on what I just said. So just like you were just saying, it's a syndrome, but it's one of those things that we start seeing so much that we think that is the thing to do. So if a father is not in the home, and then the mother is now saying, "Oh, your dad is not here; he's no good," or whatever, and then she has children, and then that's passed down, and then that daughter says, "Oh, my father was never in the home, so I don't need a man." So, like I said, all this is learned behavior. So it is not that we even want it. I think we have just what's the word?
We've accepted the conditioning. That's what it is.
Thank you. That is exactly what it is. We accept that. But we should not accept that, because when you think about, if you go back and you think about the families that were strong, even when you guys were talking about sitcoms and all of that, Good Times, 227, and all that, those are the Black families I saw. I saw that. I didn't see single parent homes. There's not too many single parent homes in my family. From great grandma all the way up to my mom to us, like, all of us are married. And all of us are married, now that I think about it. So no one is saying, I don't need the man, I don't need the woman, I can do better by myself. No one is doing that. So the reason why I bring that up is because if it's a learned behavior, it can be unlearned. And so I'm going to be quiet.
Nah, but you right on point with it.
Right on point.
And when you conditioned to something for so long, and we teach this in the lessons, it's so easy to be led in the wrong direction but it's hard to be led in the right direction when the truth is made manifest. You understand what I'm saying? Because we're so conditioned to the abnorm, but when the norm comes along, we fight the norm versus reversing it and fighting the abnormality.
Mm-hmm.
You know, we accept everything that their society has taught us as the right way.
Mm-hmm.
When the truth comes along about how we really were and what we need to do to recondition our mindset, we have a hard time accepting that truth. And we want to fight that truth tooth and nail because we're too conditioned in the other way instead of wanting to open our minds and hearts to combat the old way and show them that when we unify, and that's the whole thing, when we do come together, it is a threatening manner to them in some shape, form, or fashion. Because when we get together and stand strong side by side, that's a chain link that cannot be broken. And they fear that link. So the best way to do it is plant fear into taking one from another and keeping that going.
You know, Kate, when, like you're saying, the norm, we're talking about the norm. This has become the norm. This has become the norm. We're talking about reversing polarities and things of that nature. This is the norm. You can't tell a person now that you shouldn't do this, or we should come together. We should work together. You can't. That's not what it is, because individuals have their own hidden agendas. They have their own, and see, that's another thing. People will tell you, you know what I'm saying, never go into a relationship with expectations. That's so that you don't have any, because they're going to expect everything from you. You know what I mean? So you have to be very mindful of the conversations and things of that nature, and watch what you're dealing with, because everybody look at things differently.
Right, is that
people, you know what I mean? Like Lynn said, you know, a lot of people had two parent families, whereas whatever you went through, whether your old man was a drunk or your mama was promiscuous, whatever the situation was, that was dealt with inside the home. And they stayed together, they worked that together, or whatever the case may be. Even if they didn't stay together, they still had a relationship. You know what I'm saying? They showed some form of unity for the kids. Now, it's like the best thing to do is you go hang out with your boys, I'm going to hang out with my girls, and I'll see you when I need to get knocked down. That's what it's about. It's either the physical or you paying them. The music media has gotten women thinking that becoming promiscuous and being savage and all that other stuff is the norm. You know what I mean? And like True Adriatic said, it comes from a lack of trust of Black men as a whole, as a severe problem in bringing together Black relationships. But it's like you can't trust somebody if you don't want to work with them. If you don't want to work with them from the beginning,
right?
You don't. If you have your own agenda, that you're not going to be. Because see, most, like I'm gonna say most women who were married first, they were married to their sweetheart, whatever the case may be. That individual broke their heart. They're not trying to get back in that situation and get their heart broken. So what they're going to do is they're going to try to control the narrative. And in controlling the narrative, you're going to run off the individual that actually cares for you.
Yeah, absolutely.
Because 9 times out of 10, you was the trophy woman for the first individual. You know what I'm saying? You just somebody that you didn't want nobody else to be knocking down. But the other individual probably cared more for you than you ever thought. Or you know that they do, but that doesn't matter for you. You know what I mean? It's crazy that I look at things and I see how this world is just painted. And then these young girls, the first thing they say is, deal with a bunch of men before you get married. And when you tell a young man, like, deal with a bunch of women before you get married, it's bad. It can't be good for one and not good for the other.
Right.
You know what I mean? But that's my take on it. But
it's a lot of that though that goes on. Before Lynn had called, the reason I want to share my situation, is I always try to share my experiences and try to help, other people. But I think, just from me, I listen to, Black men, I feel like I've learned, Black men. I've sat back, I've looked at situations, and I feel like that's how I'm able to have the approach that I have. But one thing I do want to point out, that a lot of y'all Black men may not know, is that women struggle with, why do he treat her different? These are the conversations people have with me, and that's why I wanted to share my situation of why, the person I'm in a relationship with responds different to me. Men need peace. Men need respect. Men need a strong woman to have their back. It's just, y'all don't even need much, because to be honest with you, that's free. You know what I mean? That's free versus y'all getting with a woman that want all these expensive bags. You know what I mean? And all these gifts and stuff. I feel like what y'all want is free. And it's not hard to give y'all that. And that's where a lot of women are dropping the ball, because they don't consider y'all. They don't consider how y'all feel or none of that. And then they want to sit up and complain to me with Shalakemia. He take her on trips and he do this and he do stuff. He ain't do. You know why he's treating that woman different? That woman is giving him what he needs. You didn't give him what he needed. You was worried about yourself in the relationship. You wasn't worried about him. I'm telling y'all, I get those messages that he's with another woman and he's doing things for her that he should have did for me.
And it's funny, I seen a post the other day. As a matter of fact, I shared it. It says that 2 women can been undated the same man, but never dated the same man. Right. You know what I mean? Because the response is totally different.
Yeah.
And women don't realize, like, when a man cheat, he don't cheat for sex. He don't step out for sex. That's not the reason why he steps out. Right. The reason why a man steps out is for peace. You know what I'm saying? It's for peace. And the sad thing about it is, it's like everybody think they, and it's funny, woman be like, I was way better than her. Why he cheated on me with that? And blah, 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 blah.
Yeah, I hear that all the time.
Because it's peace. He's not looking at her physical composition. He's not looking at her face. He's not looking at her body. He's not looking at none of that. He's looking at the peace that she brings.
Yeah. When he walked through that door of her home, it's peace. He wants to be there.
Right. Because it's what it is. It's peaceful.
The great example you gave reminds me of that old Tyler Perry movie that came out with Taraji P. Henson starred, Acrimony.
Yeah.
You know, that was a great example of going through heartaches and pains as a couple. And he was giving his all. Even though he messed up, he was giving his all and doing what he was trying to do to reach his goal.
Yeah.
And then you have all the other outside entities that was bringing negativity into her mind about the man she loved. And when it finally reached, it exploded. But he was down on his last, and here comes a woman who gave him a set of peace, as like John's talking about, and helped develop what she saw in him, what he already had in him, but she helped enlighten it. And now all great things were bestowed on him. And then the woman that loved him, when she saw this and he made restitution with her, she became angry at the woman, saying, "You're living my life."
And try to break them up.
You're living my life. I don't sit with you. No. Look at yourself.
Look
at yourself and find out what happened.
He practically was begging her, like, even when they were in office, he was like, "Are you sure? Are you sure?" He's like, "I love you. Are you sure this is what you want to do?" Her sister, her miserable sister, sitting next to her, coaching her, and she like, "Yeah, you dropped. That was on you. That was on you. And he made sure she was taken care of, got her mom's house back, all that good stuff, and then went and lived his life. And she could not sit there and fathom that he was living his life with another woman.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Wow.
And that's where things have gotten to the point where it's about peace. If we ain't gonna, you know what I'm saying, harmonize, you know what I mean, that's just basically what it is. And it's sad that it's to the point where we are sleeping with the enemy. We are combative with the person that we're supposed to love. We are in a situation where we hate to see each other coming. You know what I mean? And that's where things is becoming like, it's sad when you look at the world as a whole.
Right.
Like, what is it? Like, what can you honestly say? What honestly can you do? When you done gave all you had. You know what I'm saying? And people don't recognize it. Right. People don't recognize the things that you've actually done for them because you don't count the favors. You don't count what you do for your spouse. You know what I mean? But when a person count what they do for you, then it wasn't real. It wasn't sincere.
Right. And that's important. I had one call and my mouth was wide open. Because the girl, she was like, I went and got a BBL and everything. She was like, and this woman he's with, she weighed like 300 pounds. I said, it don't matter if she weighed 1,000. It don't matter. I said, you got the real out. Why? I said, why is your mindset that you went and got a BBL? I said, you must not have heard my video when I told y'all that the BBL ain't gonna solve the problem. Do the surgery on your spirit, your mind. Do the surgery there. On your heart. Going to a doctor and getting a big butt and a snatched stomach ain't it, baby. It's not it. It's just not. Y'all thinking wrong. Y'all got nice bodies with a bad attitude.
Yeah, and that's the problem. The attitude.
Yeah.
And they don't see the wrong, or they know that they're doing wrong, but they don't care.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Because they feel like individuals should just accept the fact, well, this is just me. This is just me. This is just me. No.
That's that Hollywood wink stuff. You know what I'm saying? It's the superficial to try to outweigh the infinite power.
Mm-hmm.
Because if all this is made in a different light, it's the attraction. We got that. We understand the makeup, but when I get to know inside of you, is your inside going to match your outside? Because if it's not, it's not going to really, my attraction for you is not there no more. Like I said, make love to my mind and my body will follow. Don't make love to my body, my mind. You expect, the reverse of it. No. But it's me up here. Do the implosion in here, and I guarantee you the explosion is worthwhile outside. You know what I mean?
Once a person done checked out, I don't care what you do mentally. Once a person done checked out, you know what I'm saying, it still ain't gonna make a difference.
Yeah.
And people don't realize that when you make a person realize how life can be without you, there's nothing you can do. You know what I mean? It's just occupying time and space.
Right.
Because that's the sad part when people get to the point where
we got another call on the line. What time we got?
we got about 10 more minutes.
Caller, how you doing? Good evening. You on the air of Real2reel360. State your name. Where you calling?
Peace. This is True Asiatic. I'm down in Atlanta now.
Peace.
Oh man, peace, True.
Peace, God.
Absolutely. Actually, I wanted to actually ask a question, Shalakemia, about bringing this whole thing together.
Okay.
I think part of it is trust. I don't think Black men got the trust. In general, we don't get the benefit of the doubt of trust. It may or may not be, depending on a person's experience with Black men, may or may not be justified. But I'm just saying, you spoke of love earlier, and I know love comes from self first. I also think that in this today's climate, love is conditional. So how do we deal with the conditions that we're going to have to deal with, obviously, build back the trust, you know what I'm saying, that we are looked at as an independent woman can hand over the reins, so to speak, or at least some of the responsibilities that she claims to be tired about to the Black man, and be able to connect. And like I said, these people, we're not lonely anymore, and we're not growing old by ourselves anymore.
First of all, it's not a man's responsibility to build that trust up. First of all, there should be trust in a relationship and in the marriage, absolutely, but you should not have to pay for what someone else did, and that's what a lot of men are doing. A lot of Black men are prejudged by the other Black men that Black women have dated, and that's not fair. You know why? Because me as a Black woman, I don't want anybody to come and prejudge me off of another Black woman they've been with. I'm a totally different Black woman. Experience me. Don't prejudge and base me off of anyone. I don't feel like that's a Black man's responsibility to have to sit up and come and overly prove something he did not do. That's first of all. Y'all have to stop accepting that. Stop accepting women that's coming, oh, well, my ex did this and I'm not your ex. Don't bring that over here. And that's a red flag that y'all have to identify with. That's a red flag. A whole bunch of problems about to come after that. My ex did this, and it's cool to vent and say, listen, this is what I've been through, but it's not okay to make another Black man pay for what another Black man did and have to jump through all these hoops. No, that's not okay. I'm not about to jump through hoops. Us Black women, we ain't about to do it, so we shouldn't expect y'all to do it. And I said what I said.
As a Black man, I don't expect fair, and I teach my sons, don't use the F word, which is fair, because life ain't fair. That's number one. And it sounds from what you're saying, I think I'm gonna start giving the gift of therapy for these birthdays coming up, you know, and things like that. You know what I mean? Because like you said, it's a lot of things that I know we all need to work on. But I'm saying, as far as fixing, you know, for us to come together. I mean, I can have all my stuff together, and all I'm saying is I do meet a series of women that they want the exact same things that you mentioned earlier about the love and things like that to bring it together, but practical application and being able to sustain it, like the God said earlier, being able to sustain it. You want it on the outside, but you don't have a working concept of bringing that into fruition and maintaining it. And it shows in our relationships, our track records.
Right. So my thing is, you know, it's like, how do we get there? I see women that post on social media and they be like, oh, just come healed already, you know? And I don't think that is 100% true for everybody. You're not going to come 100% healed, but I'm going to tell you what you can do. You can come to a relationship and it can be a fresh start. Whatever you went through before me, leave it back there. Don't bring it here into this space. That complicates things. That's what we must do first. You must first love yourself and care about yourself enough. It's not about expecting fair. It's about you knowing your worth. Don't allow anybody to come into your life with baggage that they are going to then push off on you. You see what I'm saying? It's a thin line because we all have went through things. But it's not fair for me to come into a relationship with someone and take that out on them. That becomes frustrating. That's miserable. You make a miserable home when you do things like that.
Now, let me ask you this. What would you say to women that have played this or have had to have the role of independence, leadership, whatever you want to call it, in raising children, maybe on the job thing, and then they want a man in their life, but let's just say don't know how to relinquish that, you know, they don't know how to, but they say they want all the things that they want to be in a successful relationship and or marriage. So what would you say to them as terms to be able to relinquish some of that, and you know what I mean, where there's even space for a man outside of finance, physical intimacy, and change the tires and move the refrigerator out the way. The heavy lifting.
Right.
Do.
I've spoke to women, like that before, to say this is what I want, right? And your mouth can say whatever. Is your mindset ready for that? Is your household ready for that? Because you have to think about it. You are bringing a man into a home with children that are not his. And you have to make sure your children respect them, you respect them. So the household works in harmony. You can't, I could come and say, I want something all day, but am I mentally ready for it? Am I ready to do the work? That's what I'm gonna say to the women, and that's what I say to them. Are you ready to do the work? Women say, "Oh, I want a relationship," and I have to let them know, baby, you can't get into no relationship with no real man and act single. You can't get in no real relationship with no man and act like you this independent woman standing on this mountain. You can't do that. You got to operate like what you want. You can't operate single. You're not making the biggest thing I get with some women is that they don't want to talk to the person they're with about decisions. Well, you need to be single, baby, because you ain't by yourself. You got to talk to who you with about decisions. That's just what you do. That's natural order. If you don't want to do that, then stay single.
And then, and then in that same scenario, having the final say. In other words, obviously, no woman wants to follow a man that doesn't have goals or have an end game, so to speak, or an idea for the family as a whole. So I understand not following someone like that. But I'm just saying that someone that does have, generally women in general, I'm not just stereotyping, but what I'm saying is they generally like to have the last word. So what I'm saying is, how can a man's decision, quote unquote, or the man's decision for the family be final, or the relationship be final? And let's say she may make more money than him.
That don't matter. Okay. That don't matter if she makes more money. It don't matter. If you feel like you make more money, you want to make decisions by yourself, be single. Be single.
Yeah.
No, you can't. You can't do that. You can't. It's not, oh, I make more money in a relationship, so I control it. That's not what it is. Men are natural leaders. We're supposed to naturally follow. If they can't follow the man they with, they ain't supposed to be with them.
Which brings me to another question. Now I find that I'm 56. Okay, so a lot of these questions I'm asking as my 30-year-old self, my 20-year-old self. Some of these answers I've come to, but I understand we got other listeners. I have children in their 20s and 30s, so I want to get this. But let's just say we also have a contingency of women, a lot of independent, quote unquote, used to being by themselves, that also have an idea of the man's manhood and wants to define it for him. Like, if you know what I'm saying, like, right? So that's where a lot of pushback, I've seen it over the years. No, it's kind of increased. If you was a man, blank. If you was a man, you would be blank. You would be fill in the blank. You know what I mean? So, and these are generally coming from people that didn't grow up around men. No. And I'm just, and I'm sure you say these type of people you could get away from as well, because they're going to be by themselves. But I just wanted to bring it out to see what you had to say on those type of individuals and what they need to really get a real concept of manhood from men, quote unquote.
Are you asking, because I know at the beginning you were saying they're independent, they're used to being single. Are you asking, like, how do they transition?
Yeah, how do they change that mindset to look, it's not for me to define, okay, even in what I want. I have an idea of the man I want, but I don't have an idea of a working concept of manhood. But I am taking what my idea is and I'm putting it on the men to fulfill this unrealistic or this idealistic, quote unquote, manhood to my needs. In other words, how do they change their wiring or programming or,
I mean, unrealistic. It really shouldn't even be a fit my needs. And this is just me. I look at it as, how do we fit each other's needs? That has to be the mindset. You see what I'm saying? How do we each other? It's not just about me. It's about us. If you got a woman that's saying, she's looking for a man to, meet her needs, and that's unrealistic, why aren't you looking for a relationship or a marriage and y'all sit down and have a conversation? What do you want out of life? What do I want out of life? You see what I'm saying? Just getting to know each other to learn if we can build a foundation together. I need the man I'm with, I need to know his goals. I need to know his dreams. I need to know what he's been through. I need to know everything because I need to know who I'm supposed to be to him. How I can serve him with his dreams and his goals. You know what I mean? How I'm able to pour into him, and I have to be receiving of him pouring into me as well. That's a big problem. Women aren't looking at men as he can teach me something. They're looking at what can he buy me, but the real value is what can he teach you. Y'all men, y'all black men are so amazing, and y'all so knowledgeable. And if black women just got out their own way, they could learn so much from y'all. The way y'all pour into us is amazing.
All right. Well, you're true. We appreciate you calling in, bro. We short on time.
All right.
And peace.
Hey, yo, true, man. I got to get with you, man. We having that family fun day at the end of the month.
He hung up, though. He hung up.
Okay.
Before we leave, there was a major text that came through, and it's going back to the question of trust. Okay, and I guess it's want to put out. So you said earlier that it's not for the man to build the trust in the relationship, or in part for themselves. But if doesn't that depend upon the relationship of what that person or that person may have done to one another to rebuild the trust for that relationship?
I thought he was saying, men have to build the trust, dealing with women. I thought that's what he was saying, like coming in.
Yeah, that's exactly what he's saying. Coming
yeah, that's what he was saying, like coming in. I don't believe that's our responsibility coming in, because just like people say happiness is an inside job. That person, you can't come and be with somebody you got trust issues. You can't do it.
The worst thing in the world is to be in a relationship with a person that is not happy with themselves, and they cannot be happy with you.
Right. Right.
Right. Nobody can really make you happy.
No.
It's an individual thing, but you can find happiness together.
Mm-hmm.
You can,
but you have to first distinguish. You have to be happy with yourself. And how do you be happy with yourself? Well, that's a research you got to do with you. And then the happiness is a togetherness of that coming together to show forth the best part of the relationship in it. So the trust factor is similar to that in itself for an already relationship. Now, I do get you and understand. I can't make you trust me for what happened before me.
Right.
Okay.
Right. If you didn't do it, you see what I'm saying?
Didn't do
that's
that.
not fair.
I shouldn't have to build a trust rapport
that I didn't break
something I did not do.
But But I can, like, if I'm with someone and they have trust issues from before, and they might have a little bit of trust issues, they're not taking it out on me. But you know what? I'm gonna show them, baby, you can trust me. Mm-hmm. You see what I'm saying? I'm gonna show them I'm different. Now that's my responsibility. I could show them, listen, I'm different from all them other women you've been with, baby. It's different over here. I hit different, but it's not my responsibility that the trust issues that he may have before me, he can't come in this space and take that out on me because I didn't do it.
That's it.
So men should not have that burden of feeling like, oh, well, I gotta overly. No, you don't have to overly do anything. That person should have dealt with them trust issues that they had with that person before they met you.
That's it. That's it. Yeah, I tell you, we have been over our time limit about 35 minutes. And this show is powerful. I knew it was going to be powerful because, like I said, just the guest alone, what the energy she brings is magnetic. And you know you're coming back. It's just we got to come back.
I'm gonna always come back.
It's just that we as a people, we needed these are the conversations that are needed to be had.
Yeah.
We need to be transparent with these type of conversations, and maybe we can heal from a lot of dysfunction and reverse the polarity.
Right.
You know, I want to say thank you for coming back on, Shalakemia, and I'm going to see you again on the show, and hopefully Lynn will bring herself to work, and you know it'd be like that. And of course, you know my partner Kay, you know he that's my brother right there. I love him to death. So, you know, like I said, you're always welcome to come back and look forward to it. So, Kay, you know what time it is.
Absolutely, absolutely. Thank you each and every one for tuning in and for the commentaries that came about. This was a spectacular episode, again, part 2. And we once again want to give a big special shout out to our special guests. And before we go, Shalakemia, please let everyone know where they can follow you along at, because I already put up the IamShalakemia@gmail.com, but tell us what other platforms where they can follow you at.
Right.
Yeah, I'm at I'm Shalakemia on every platform, and I also have 2 amazing audio books. If y'all like what I be saying, I have 2 audio books on my website, I'mShalakemia.com. And you can download them and listen to them whenever you need to, but they're both so empowering. One's called Can I Be Your Best Friend? Mm-hmm. And the other one is called The Master Reset, which we all need a master reset on our life like we do our phones sometimes. Right. They're 2 powerful audio books, so check them out. Thank you.
All right. Fans, family, we love y'all. True indeed. Before we go, Ja, who we got coming up next week?
Well, I think this week we have the son of Huey P. Newton, Rico Dukes is going to be on. And we're going to talk about how the federal government is still trying to attack that family. And we're going to address some issues going forward. And, of course, everybody's looking forward to Calvin Richardson. Oh, my goodness. Calvin Richardson. And we're bringing back Tony Terry. And, and we have Align with Allison. We're going to have a lot of shows that's going to deal with music and also the mental health and relationship when it comes down to the Black and brown people in this country. So make sure that you tune in, tell a friend, like, subscribe, share, conversate. Just even if you just talk about it, you know what I mean, to a friend, which means much more than anything else, to make sure that their third eye is open. It's okay?
Absolutely. All right. Thank you all for tuning in. To my co-host with the most, my brother in God, Joshua Metallah, aka Mr. PhD. This is DJ K Wise of the Real2reel360. We say peace and stay mental. You know what I'm saying? And we're going to close it out in a different way. We're going to give another dedication shout out to Lord's Island. So you know how we're going to do. We're going to bring that 6th borough into place. Shalakemia, thank you again. We love you. See you when we see you. Peace, everybody.